Welcome to the We Win Injury Law podcast. I'm Tyler, Todd, your host. I'm sitting here with my co-host, Jaren, the Snow Canyon Man, Sandberg. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a crazy topic we're talking about today because when it happened, it was mind-blowing that it got that bad.
Yeah.
And it got bad. And then, one, it was mind-blowing for me to see how bad it got with like just the pure chaos and carnage and death and injuries resulting from the scenario we're going to talk about. But then two, it was mind-blowing because I don't think I'd ever heard of the singer, entertainer when this happened. And I had no idea he was that big and popular, which I guess I feel like I'm generally in the know.
But you have kids at the right age, right?
Yeah,
to know kind of music.
Then I was, holy crap, I guess I'm not that in the know.
I feel like you have a lot better beat on that stuff than I do, because if you didn't know, it must not have been.
No, apparently it was, because there were a lot of people there and there were a lot of things that happened. We're talking about the 2021 Astroworld disaster, which became one of the deadliest concert tragedies in U.S. history. Do you remember that?
Yeah, this one. What was interesting at the time, I remember thinking too, is it was like, I don't know if so many people attended because this is when we finally started feeling like free from COVID.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe that's why it was so like, because this happened November 5th, 2021. Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, probably, that's a good point.
What did I just drink? Coconut water?
What did you drink?
It tastes like...
Oh, it's called, I didn't even look at the name. It's called Cocoa Love.
There's chunks in it. Chunks of coconut.
Cocoa Love coconut water with pulp. Let me have some.
I got worried that I had just drank something that was rotten. I'm like, it's chunky.
Oh, it's good. It's nice. Cocoa Love, everybody. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's pretty good. Cocoa water with pulp. It says never from concentrate. It's actually really good.
It almost reminds me of like milky.
It's actually not too milky for coconut stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good. If you guys like coconut water, this is really nice. Cocoa Love.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us, but our producer gave us these coconut waters, which was really nice, by the way.
It's really good. Anyways, okay. That was really insensitive. We're talking about super sensitive stuff.
Oh, sorry, guys.
This is...
I shouldn't be laughing.
Why are you laughing?
I'm the type that laughs
at a funeral.
Some of us laugh at a funeral. It's the
That's
way
true.
that we cope
Some
with
people
these kind of
cope. It's a coping
emotions.
mechanism.
It's a coping mechanism.
Now I know you're really bothered by it, so that's nice.
Yeah, it was. But I think it was in the November 21st,
2021.
November 5th, 2021.
Yeah, post-COVID, when people are like, we can finally go out, concerts, not have a mask on. So maybe that's why 50,000 people in attendance. Now, it could be COVID. It could be Travis Scott. Travis Scott is huge.
Yeah.
Ever since, obviously, My Eyes. You know that song, My Eyes? Pretty good one. Cindy, you know that song? Travis Scott? I think it's My Eyes. He's pretty good. He's legit. So now, looking back, it's not surprising that there were 50,000 people there in attendance at his concert. But
this is an NRG Park in Houston, Texas.
Texas.
But he's the headliner.
He's a headliner. So around 9 o'clock, he takes the stage, and the crowd began to push forward toward the stage with a lot of people. And you hear this a lot, right? When you go to concerts or you go into like small venues, and especially like around mosh pits, it's just shoulder to shoulder. Everyone's...
You want to be in it, though.
You want to be in it, but then you can't breathe. You can't It does become suffocating.
And when I've actually seen these before this point, because I feel like I didn't see this. You wouldn't hear about this a lot in the U.S., but at like soccer games in England and around Europe, you would hear of these kind of crowd surges, and you normally hear it in terms of like bleacher failures. But you think, oh, this is the U.S. There's safety codes. And
yeah, we have codes in place. That wouldn't happen
before someone would approve a venue like that.
Totally.
You anticipate that when you attend these events, that they're prepared for 50,000 people.
And I didn't realize this, but there's actually a phenomenon called and known as crowd compression.
Yeah.
Which is obviously extremely dangerous, but it can cause suffocation, so compression, asphyxia, loss of consciousness, and cardiac arrest, which is wild. Because if you can't breathe and you lose consciousness, there's no oxygen, you're going to go into arrest, whether it's...
Have you ever been to a concert where you're in the standing area up front and you're experiencing this?
But never to that.
But
degree.
even a little bit, because the only thing I can maybe relate is there's a couple of, when I'm in Brazil and people were trying to get onto the train, and I do remember almost like I could have probably lifted my legs up and still been standing because people trying to pack into the train, trying to get to work and different things. It's the only other time I felt like that compression. But I've never been down in like the mosh pit area of a concert. I've always viewed it from afar.
Yeah, I've never, maybe like on a train, and maybe in Europe or Asia, because in Asia, for whatever reason, there's no personal space.
Yeah.
And I've traveled to Asia a few times, so like in Thailand or Japan, there's been a couple times when I'm on a train and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're literally packed in like sardines. But here at this concert, on that fateful evening, literally people were screaming for help, passing out. People were like, they were passing out, and then people were like, I think crowd surfing the unconscious people like out.
And it's almost like it's too big to really get too many people to really get the word out that, hey, you got to back up.
Yeah, because no one can hear it, right? Because you got a concert going, you got the music's blasting, everyone's screaming, and so you don't know whether they're screaming, cheering for the artist and just singing along or whatever, and there's probably a lot of people, probably a lot of drugs.
But on
alcohol.
The stage, I can't remember, but wasn't one of the things that came out of this is that the stage, they didn't know, at least according to them, is that they're up on stage and they can't see everything.
Right.
They're just seeing a big fun crowd.
Well, the lights are in their eyes, and it's bright. You can't really, and you can't hear people screaming. But apparently, people were passing out and being trampled
for over 37 minutes,
which is unbelievable.
You think about not breathing, right? We all think that we could be a Navy SEAL and hold our breath for whatever it is, 4 minutes.
You do?
No, I'm joking because I couldn't do it for 30. Like every time I'm in a pool, I can make it like a pool your size. I could probably swim from one end underneath to the other, which is all of about 8 seconds. And about at the end of that, I'm like coming up for air, right? Or like we do the hotel pools. My kids are like, Dad can push off one side and hold his breath for all of 9 seconds.
You feel like you're a Navy SEAL?
In those moments. I come out of the water, just my eyes, right? And keep holding my breath like a badass. No, I don't. And can you imagine 37 minutes of not being able to breathe?
It doesn't take very long.
It would not take long, especially with people yelling at a concert. I feel claustrophobic when we leave like a Dodgers game.
Totally. But 37 minutes for that to be ongoing for that long and nobody noticing, obviously the staff.
50,000 people.
It was horrible. 10 people died. This is another thing too that I'm concerning. Ranging in the ages of 9 to 27. And hundreds injured, and many of the victims just died of compressive asphyxia. Tell me how's a 9-year-old? And I don't know, because I don't want to.
You never want to victim blame.
But no, I don't. But it does make a 9-year-old at a concert like that.
Yeah, and this is where it just gets hard. There are some concerts out there, and I think the festival style, like. In your head, you picture, what's the one we have out here? Burning Man, that's out in the desert.
Yeah.
That almost feels like you have so much room to spread out that you're never going to run into that kind of thing.
But then they all pack in.
But then they pack it in for at least the videos and photos. I've never been. But then, like they got stuck in the mud for a week on that, like some freak rainstorm. And it just makes me think, when you attend one of these festivals and these concerts, and I think this one kind of woke people up, no one's really thought through this massive crowd and crowd surging, and they haven't thought of this in a way that they should. There's not people out scanning like, oh wait, we got a crowd surge. Hey, cut the mic real quick on the singer and tell him to tell everyone to back up. It wouldn't have been that hard to notice, like, okay, these people are
right too
packed in there. if they just had, it wouldn't have taken much to have some observers from the show.
No, and that was like, I think what investigations ultimately discovered was that there was certainly inadequate crowd control, like you just said, insufficient medical staffing, and then delays in recognizing the severity of the situation, and then just no communication.
And that's where the poor communication, even from staff, because after people are getting crowd surfed out, you would have assumed at least that someone's figuring it out that works there, and then still not being able to somehow get that up to the stage to say, hey, cut the music for 2 minutes while we just decompress the crowd.
Right. Not what you bring up an interesting point about Burning Man and like Coachella. That's another big one.
Yeah.
The EDM.
There was one on an island.
Music.
There was a whole Netflix series too that was like.
Is that what it is? Yeah, that there was Firefly or something.
Yeah.
Is it EDM? Is that the one that's in Vegas? Like the electric? Is it called EDM or ECM or something? There's a big like electric whatever down in Vegas. They do it at the EDM. Yeah. So those get like crazy too, but how do they still? I feel like they still have a ton of like crowd control issues, and then Burning Man. With all those people being stuck out there in the mud, I mean, I saw tons of videos that no one could get out.
This massive line of people like can't get across like this like little muddy river and
it was
stuck.
like, how did organizers not prepare for that?
Yeah,
or at least be, hey, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. If that does happen, we're going to have a major disaster on our hands.
Yeah, we need to truck in water and some different things to get some vehicles in there that can pull people out.
And when that happens, then the organizers are responsible.
And you think, I always assume the average age of some of these are young adults.
You're talking about the organizers?
No, the people that are attending.
Oh.
And so you're not thinking, it's all it takes is one friend be like, hey, let's all go to this cool concert, and it's let's go. And you're not thinking, do I have enough water for a week if I get stuck in the mud? Burning Man.
Totally.
You're just, and again, even from the videos of the type of crowd that it attracts, a lot of them don't seem like they even know how to run the trailer to pull some of this stuff where I'm like, look, these aren't like the kind of guys that me and around town that are our RV buddies or ATV buddies that almost they'd relish in that moment to like go get out their winch and pull themselves out of the mud.
Yeah.
Right. This is the opposite crowd at some of these events. And I feel like it just seems like a big lack of foresight by the organizers of these events to just think of basic things.
We have a case right now against a ski resort, and some of their defenses are exactly this type of thing, right? Like event safety, not necessarily crowd management, but liability of the resort, duty of care, what's known versus what's not known,
Assumption of the risk,
safety signs. And it's interesting because part of some of the arguments, and I think that we're making, and it's the same that I think goes with some of these like big music festival and those events, is how do you not like have, for example, when you go to a ball game at, I don't know, the Delta Center to go watch the Utah Jazz, or you go to the T-Mobile Arena to go watch the Golden Knights, right? Or you go to Dodger Stadium. You mentioned Dodger Stadium. You always go through a 2-stage process. First, they check your bags.
Yeah.
Then you go through these metal detectors, and then they check your tickets.
Yeah.
So maybe a 3 almost.
Yeah. And sometimes even to get into your section, if you're closer to the front, they'll even do a second check.
Then they check your ticket again, right? Mm-hmm. 1, to make sure that you're ticketed and you actually have a seat and you're in the right seat.
Yeah.
And then 2, there is a crowd control because there's fire codes that limit the number of people that can be on the premises.
Yeah. And hopefully they're checking for things that keep patrons safe. One's got a gun or a bomb or something dumb in their bag.
And we've been doing that for a long time. As long as I can remember.
Yeah.
So this is my question. How then do these types of these events, these music festivals, or even don't have the same type of requirements?
Yeah.
To let people onto their premises. come through with it's not that hard or difficult to have like metal detectors that you have to go through, that there's a ticketed, you have to go through this gate so we know who's here, how many people are here.
And in this situation, all it would have taken is having some roped off areas. Okay, you get to be up close to the stage. You're the section that's still close to the stage, but you're not quite as close. It doesn't take that hard to say you're in the wrong section.
And if you pay for that, that's where you should be. And if you don't pay for it, that's not where you're going to be.
And I almost wonder on situations like this if it's like people are sick of paying for good venues, like doing it at the T-Mobile Arena or something like that. And so they use these kind of alternative venues so they don't have to pay quite the venue pricing.
Sure.
And we'll recoup more of the cost of the performance of our festival.
They have to pay the performer,
yeah,
of course.
We'll put more money back in your pocket by doing it at this venue that's unchecked and hasn't thought of these things. And I guarantee that's part of that thought process.
It has to be, because it's the only thing that makes sense. And they're going to find an insurance policy that'll underwrite it.
Yep.
And because the likelihood of something happening is not super high, but it does happen. Yeah. So they're going to find an underwriter and a carrier to insure it, and not go through the actual the checks and balances to make sure everything is being up to code.
Or worse, they won't insure it. We've got a case right now where it's meant for children. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's a training facility. No insurance.
Yeah.
No business insurance.
At least what we understand at the moment.
And that's your worst nightmare is you send your kids to some place that has zero insurance.
Right. And they're representing that they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you go to a venue, you're hoping that they've at least got someone to underwrite it.
1,000%. And these companies that put on these shows or host these events or whatnot, they have a duty to you to make sure that when you go to these events that you're safe.
Yeah.
And that is the very essence of the lawsuits that they filed. And I think there were hundreds of lawsuits filed against Astroworld, Travis Scott, the production companies,
Live Nation, who put it on.
I think they just determined that there wasn't any criminal actions that needed to be filed or warranted criminal charges. Yeah. But that obviously doesn't eliminate the hundreds of civil cases that were filed due to the negligence of many, many people that led to the death of those 10 people.
And you expect some of the defense of the venue, they're going to try to claim, hey, look, it was the crowd being raucous and out of control. We couldn't have known. And this is where it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. You have no breaks in the crowd, and you have 50,000 people there.
Right.
Put that into perspective for a lot of people. Think of the last basketball game you went to. Most of those venues don't seat 50,000 people.
No.
The only one in Utah I can think that maybe comes close is either BYU Stadium, maybe the Marriott Center.
But
the Utah Jazz is what, 20,000?
20,000 approximately.
50,000 people.
T-Mobile, approximately 20,000.
Does Dodger Stadium seat 50,000?
Maybe 60,000.
So maybe but this is all of Dodger Stadium up in a concert venue with no breaks.
That's basically all of the entire crowd at Dodger Stadium going down to the field.
Going down to the field and pushing against.
Yeah.
Which is insane. It's just an insane amount of people.
So hopefully that's where you have to, those are fun, right? Those are fun things to go to, and they're exciting, and I get it. But you also have to hopefully be very careful when you go attend those events. Make sure that they are being properly organized. Make sure it's the reputable companies or venues.
I would maybe even avoid if it's their first ever. Go to the one that they've been doing this for 30 years.
Exactly. But if you ever have or decide to go and that happens, then you more than likely, notwithstanding waivers and all the different things you sign, you probably have a claim for negligence. And hopefully knock on some wood that doesn't happen, but if you're ever injured. It's just sad. This was a sad one to see, because you never want to see that type of thing happen at a concert, which is supposed to be, concerts are awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't consider myself like a concert goer. I wish I actually went to more, because there is an energy in live music. It's awesome. And I've been to a few, and every time I go, I'm like, I want to go to more concerts, because they are awesome. But that's what they should be. They should be like awesome events that are inspiring and just like amazing, and not resulting in catastrophic injury or death.
And in 2021, we shouldn't have a concert anywhere in the United States, at least.
Where that
Again,
happens.
you might be in another country that they're not as
Right.
liable. No one should be going to a concert and die in
No.
the United States.
Ever.
Ever.
So that's the sad part. It's just interesting. It's interesting thoughts, interesting perspective. Just make sure that when you go to those types of things, you're safe. You make proper preparations, and be aware. If you feel like there's like crowd surging happening, get out.
Get out.
Don't. I understand that there's a lot of drugs and alcohol, and there's whatever, some legal, some not, and just be super, super careful. Because they're supposed to be fun, not dangerous. So you guys can always find us online at wewinninjurylaw.com. Please subscribe to this podcast and share it. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and all the other places that you do your social. Well, I guess that's about it.
If you find a social media we're not on and you really see us, let me and Tyler know. We'll look into it.
We'll look into it. But until next time, you guys, everybody stay safe. Just be smart. Leave early. Slow down. And we'll see you on the next one.